I often share from my brain, but do I ever share from my heart? I want to really kind of pull back the curtain and let you know what's happening behind the scenes, what conversations we're having that directly affects you. Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. This show is for those of you that you're working so hard for your money and you're now ready for that money to start working harder for you today. You want that freedom. You want cash flow. You want the passive income as you become work optional. You work because you want to, not because you have to. And it's not just about getting rich. You want to create a rich life where it's not just about getting rich for yourself, but you're able to create a ripple effect through the lives of others, allowing you to be able to be a bigger, better impact on the world around you. Thank you so much for allowing me to create a ripple effect through you by tuning in, by sharing these episodes with other people, because guys, this ripple effect is not possible without you. So thank you for doing so much. I have just a nice kind ask for you guys. If you like anything about the show, I know most of you guys listen to audio, several of you watch it on YouTube. Please, on the audio with Apple iTunes or Spotify, whatever, leave us a review. Share, give us a shout out and just say, hey, you appreciate the show, you appreciate what we do. Love to be able to hear from you. All right, so like I said here, I want to get real with you for a minute, and the reason is because I know I come often from information, right? I come with you a lot of different types of information. I'm sharing about different things about the stock market. I'm sharing different things about investing, especially real estate investing and passive income and cash flow and all these kind of things. And I realize that sometimes I don't always have this heart to heart with you. I have been trying to do so more, but the reality is that I'm not always the most vulnerable person. I am kind of introverted. I'm not the kind of person to always just open up all the time. But I want to have an effort to do so and really help you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because if you've been following the show long enough, you probably know more about my history. But for those of you that are new, I started out as the traditional mainstream financial advisor. I was the person that was telling you, you know what, save everything, get cheap, spend nothing or spend as little as you can so you can sacrifice now to have a future later on, to have that hope of retirement down the road. And so I would be selling you that hopium, right? I'd be on there telling you, listen, if you just save your money up in these mutual funds, look at the math. I'll pull out this little compounding interest calculator for you and show you, or these programs, I'll show you that in 30, 40 plus years, you'll be financially free. You'll finally be able to live that life that you love. Only to have that shattered just 4 years into that business when I sat down with my own father, who was the penny pinching saver, who was the one that stuffed money in his 401k and got the match. He was the one that freaking paid off his house in 18 years, was 100% debt free. He was the model example of what I was teaching. And yet I still had to tell him, Dad, you're 61 years old. If you're trying to retire today, you only got 5 or 6 years left before you run out of money. You're going to have to die in 5 years. Otherwise, you're going to be out of money. And that bothered me, guys. That's what got me away from financial advising. That's when I realized there wasn't the answer there. I decided to search for real people, people that actually had figured it out, people that really were financially free. And that's where I actually went into real estate investing. That's when I started to find people that were doing that kind of thing and actually financially freed that way because they had enough passive income, just like Robert Kiyosaki teaches in Rich Dad Poor Dad, but they were actually doing it. Now, granted, a lot of these people were not so much getting passive income because a lot more active investors. Now, some of them were more passive where they were lending their money to these active investors. But the problem was they would put all their money with these active investors. And when the global recession and everything hit, they fell apart, right? They end up losing money. In my situation, I didn't put a lot of money with these guys, which was fortunate for myself. But I did apply a lot of the things that I was learning by trying to create that passive income. And I was able to do that by the time I was 28, almost 29 years old, about the summer of 2006, June, July to be exact. Now, that being said, 2007, I come out of retirement to teach people how to do what I did. And of course, I went through all of a sudden the recession that started to hit. Our business was suffering. I had stopped my streams of income because the partner I was working with at the time says, hey, get rid of all these other activities. Only focus on our company. Focus on what helps me, basically is what he said. I was just trying to be the team player. I gave up the very things that got me to be financially free in the first place. And then between that, the business suffering, and everything else, guys, it got to the point where I was in the hole. I was in the hole 15,000, 16,000 every month. Then watching my real estate values tank and everything else, guys, I really was over $1 million in debt. Now I sold off a bunch of assets and everything else, paid off all but roughly about 500, 600,000 of it that I was now overdue on. But I had to figure out how to pay off that debt. Didn't file for bankruptcy, was able to dig out, get scrappy, was able to apply the very cash flow techniques that we teach about all the time to help dig out of that rat race to where by the end of 2016, December to be exact, I had enough passive income coming in between business and personal, like the investments and real estate and things I was doing, that I was able to be out of the rat race for the second time. And from that time forward, I've not just done that in my own life, but guys, this is now the 11th season of this podcast. The whole reason I created this podcast was for you. Now, I will say this, it did help me a little bit because when there's clients I was working with, it's very nice to be able to say, here's a commonly asked question, and especially if they ask that question saying, rather than me spending the next 15, 20 minutes explaining the answer, just go watch this video, right? Or go listen to this, audio recording I did because I used to do this audio only. This is only 2020 and beyond. I started doing this as video. And that's where really we got into this place of trying to create more of a ripple effect. I realized that my ripple effect was, I knew that I had a ripple effect. I didn't know how big it could be. I had, I had different people telling me, Chris, you should go and do the, go up toe to toe with Dave Ramsey. Some of you are still saying that, aren't you? And who knows, maybe one of these days, him and I will have a nice little chat. And honestly, we'll probably agree on a lot of things. We might disagree a little bit on the strategy, but I guarantee that if we were to get into a good, rational conversation, we would probably agree on a lot. I just don't like his methods, especially his methods of creating wealth, right? And that's what I realized, that there's so much bad information. Financial advisors trying to tell you that if you just set it and forget it, you just keep doing their plan, it's going to work out in the end. When the vast majority, the statistics say it doesn't work, right? Because if that were the case, we'd have a lot more wealthy people going to retirement, and that's not the case. And I know because many of you are in this boat where you've been good savers. You've done everything right, just like my dad did. Yet somehow in the financial advising world, it's just not enough because you're only supposed to pull off 3% a year. So what do? You keep working, you keep saving, you keep sacrificing, you keep delaying your life. You keep delaying the real power that you have, which is now. The time with your family is now, not later, not when they're moved out and then they have their own families, their own busy, and then they're in their own rat race because that's what you taught them. And you created a legacy of scarcity, a legacy of maybe working hard, making good money, but never truly becoming financially free because you have to keep hustling for your money. And therefore, your adult kids now have to keep hustling for money. And it just passes that on from generation to generation. At what point you have to ask yourself is, when is this going to stop with me? When does the buck stop with me? When do I take that personal responsibility and things start to change? And that's who I'm calling out right now. I'm calling you out. Not just those of you, I'm not calling out those of you that just listen to podcasts for the rest of your life and your life doesn't change. That's not who I'm calling out. Now, I am calling you out in the sense of doing something different, to get different. Because the truth is, you can't just say and nod your head in agreement and say, yeah, that's exactly what I want, and then do nothing about it. Then you really don't really want it. The pain of where you're dealing with right now has to be bigger than the current comfort of your lifestyle. Even if it means you have to work forever until you're in your 60s or 70s, like my dad did. He had to work into his 70s, and now still he's going into his 80s. Now he is in his 80s. He's still trying to just pull off as little as possible, trying not to spend too much money. Is that the life you want to live? Is that the life you've pictured for yourself, for your family? Did you picture a life where you're finally waiting for your golden years to almost pass you by before you finally start living some golden years? And by that point, you're really not living golden years. You're living out of a necessity. Maybe your health doesn't allow you to do the things that you once could have done years before. I guarantee if we asked my dad if he can go back in a time machine, he could do everything over again. If he can be able to buy himself the freedom that I talk about on this show, and not just talk about, but actually do for myself and teach many other people to do the same thing. So many men and women, especially those that have families, that are doing the same thing in their lives right now. I guarantee he would trade just about everything he had for that kind of freedom, to be able to have that freedom sooner. Maybe by the time he was 61, wants to meet with him as a financial advisor, but then saying, Chris, I respect what you say as a financial advisor, but I know it doesn't work. That would be something. That would be something he would probably change all of his wealth in, to be able to get that one thing, just that one thing. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this show. That's why I'm here to teach you so much. I know the hardest part is trying to teach you all the things I've learned over really almost a quarter of a century. Now it's been almost 25 years I've been in this business, right? And 4 of those years we're learning how it doesn't work. So then I can learn the last about 20 years of how it did work. And I'm here to tell you that what we teach here works. And the problem is, I get it too, because we had a guy that reached out to us. He actually hired us the next day after he talked with us. But he was just like, what? I'm not so sure, but it seems like Chris, he's not as well polished. He must be legit, right? I can tell he cares. And I hope that comes through on this podcast. I know I've done a lot of episodes where I say that, but I hope you understand that I'm doing this not out of the fact that I need the money. Because the truth is, guys, I make more than enough money. In fact, it's easier for me to make money not doing this. I don't have to do a dang thing, and still my family is well taken care of. When I've got between 40 and 50,000 a month coming in, whether I work another day or not, I'm not doing that to brag. I'm just letting you know this is here by choice. I had a choice. I knew that I can either keep living a life in comfort, take care of my family, and let them know everything I'm doing, or I could do something bigger, which includes you as part of my family. And that's really how I view it. That's why whenever people hire us on the consulting side, it literally says, "Welcome to our Money Ripples family," right? Because we are. And I'll tell you again, it's okay. Yes, I got a lot of kids, and I'm not saying clients too. I do have a lot of kids. That family can still get bigger, and it has been getting bigger. And I'm noticing this more and more is that there's more people that are out there, big influencers saying, "Holy cow, where have you been, Chris? I've been looking for this." Because so many people talk a big game. So many people talk about, "Hey, I'll give you financial freedom. You'll get passive income." But really what they're saying is, "I'm going to show you how to create another part-time or full-time business that might eventually pay you a good stream of money. But yeah, you're going to be working it for the rest of your life. Maybe you'll get enough systems in place that somebody else will help work it for you, but it's still a business that's not passive." The only way to get true passive income is when your money works hard for you rather than you have to work hard for that money. That's the difference. If you try to think you can do it without money, it's not true. It's not true at all. They're just filling you full of crap. I'm here to stand to tell you that yes, you can take your money and turn it into more. Can you leverage it in better ways? Can you leverage less money than you thought? Yes. This is why we have so many people, clients that have sometimes a few $100,000. Sometimes they've got a 500,000. Maybe they got into the millions. But it doesn't matter the amount. More importantly, it's about what they do with that money. And it's not just about throwing your money to get the biggest return, because there are so many of you that are gamblers right now that I wouldn't want to touch you with a 10-foot pole, because you're going to make bad decisions unless you're coachable enough to learn from the experiences that I've learned over the years of what not to do when it comes to investing, because I've lost a lot of money investing and I've made a lot. If you've been following this podcast, you're probably looking for great ways to create passive income right now, right? Well, we got you covered here with Central Lending. Central Lending specializes in alternative investments that actually are designed to create steady returns and long-term financial security for you and your family. Now, they prioritize transparency. They love, building those strong relationships, giving you that confidence and peace of mind, knowing that you have your money working harder for you, so you don't have to work so hard for that money. You want to learn more how to do that? Go to centrallending.com and check out what they've got today to create your passive income and wealth creation right now. And I'll tell you, making it the second time around was a lot better than the first time around because of the lessons I learned. And there's some of you guys that are just too big of gamblers that need to calm the heck down and just get a grip on your mind, get a grip on your money, and get a grip on that gambler's mentality, because that's not how we operate. In fact, the truth is we actually teach you how to not gamble with your money as much. That's why we tell you to stop putting money in the stupid stock market or crypto and things like that, thinking you're going to make it big, and then you don't. Or you make it big for a time and then it's gone the next day. You can never, ever, ever become free and really financially free from an abundance standpoint and wealthy playing that kind of crappy game. You will never do it. It requires you to follow true principles first. Understand the principles before you use the practices in place. You get those two aligned, and what happens, you actually start to get real results like many of our clients are seeing today. And the reason I keep bringing them up is because I know this is what your real question is, because it was asked by one of our clients just recently too. Now, he had been asking questions left and right. He's like, "Hey, will you guys provide a financial coach that will actually really like walk me step by step, like help me be able to know how to analyze and how to like do this due diligence, even find good deals? Do you have a network of deals that I can even look at?" The answer is yes. And the answer is also yes. Yes, we can help support you. We do work with you one-on-one, despite many people just being mastermind groups and they just give you random coaching. And then you're off on your own devices, which is usually why you fail. Not because you should fail, but because they don't give you enough guidance on an individual basis, because you're not a freaking, box you just throw into that just everybody can do the same thing. Everybody's going to make the same amount of money. No, you have an individual situation and need an individual plan, custom tailored to fit you. That's why not all workout programs work, right? Because sometimes your workout needs to change slightly. Your diet needs to change different than the next person because their body's different than your body. It's the same thing true with money. It's no different. Yours needs to be individualized. And you get all these group coaches that, of course, or people that do group masterminds, whatever it might be, and there's not enough one-on-one guidance. So yes, we provide that. So we answered that question. Yes, we provide that. Yes, we talk about even, debts. We talk about investments. We talk about all those things. We just don't tell you you should invest in some place because we try not to cross the investment advisor line. But what we do is we do say, listen, here's some opportunities. Hey, here's even places that Chris has been investing. Here's places that our other coaches have been investing. Here are the places that our other clients are investing right now. And we have open discussion and forum. People talk about that. And this guy's like, this all sounds great. Yet he still was scared. Why was he scared? Well, that's what I asked him. I asked him that just recently. I said, okay, you're asking all these questions. He was even saying, hey, well, here's my hang up. I asked him what's a real question because he keeps asking these questions. He keeps saying he's in, but then he's not in. And I said, what's the real question here? He says, well, I look online and although I don't see any bad reviews really, he's like, I saw a few on Bigger Pockets that they said, that they talked about infinite banking, but it sounds like none of those people actually worked with you guys. They were just ripping on you for whatever reason. I'm like, yeah, they probably aren't our clients because the truth is our clients are very happy with infinite banking because we are the best there is in that situation if they want the best ROI. But for whatever reason, you can't please everybody, I guess, right? Or some people just want to rip on you for whatever reason. But the vast majority of people said, yes, we love them. But what he was looking for, he's like, I don't see any numbers. I don't see any real statistics that say, here's the amount of money this person made. Now, I could have just said, screw you, right? Like, whatever, like whiny baby, whatever it might be. That's not my style. You guys know this if you follow me long enough. That's not my style at all. And I said, because here's the truth. I thought the same thing. Literally, he doesn't know this. Just the day before, we were saying the same thing about some people we're working with, like, producing our YouTube videos. We're saying, okay, are we getting the ROI we really want out of this? Is this really worth the cost that we're putting in? This is what he was asking. Because the truth is there's so much good marketing out there. So many people talking the big game, but then they don't deliver. Even Kiyosaki. And somebody was like, oh, I love Kiyosaki. He's great. And I said, he is great. He got me my start. But the problem is I don't listen to a single word he says today because he's full of crap. The guy, I don't know if he's going senile or what, but the investment decisions he's making, he's at least he's honest about it, but he's making crappy investment decisions, almost things that were in contradiction, that the very things he taught in his own books. And so I don't listen to that stuff anymore. I don't listen to him. You might hate me for that, but I give him all the credit for the Rich Dad Poor Dad books. Those things are great. It's when he veered away from that in these recent years, you just can't listen to those people anymore. That's why I say you got to follow people that have been there, done that, and still doing it today. He is not doing it today. If he's doing anything, he's still selling you the crap. He's selling you the dream, but he's not really making the money today because he keeps losing it, gambling his money in stupid stuff that you should not be following him for that reason. So those are the kind of things that drive me nuts. So of course, this guy's asking, what he's really asking is, how do I know you guys are legit? How do I know you guys are actually getting these people real results? And I told him, I said, listen, here's one reason why you won't see those numbers, because the FTC doesn't like it, right? The Federal Trade Commission, they actually hate testimonials. Believe it or not, they hate it when people actually share their experiences. In fact, they don't even want people to share numbers unless they share a number that's been verified and it's below average, right? So an individual story, for the most part, you have to almost pick out the boring stories, right? Even though the people that have been impacted the most, you can't even share their stories. All I can share is pretty much Chris is a good guy. Money Ripple is a good program. My coach was great. They're great people. That's pretty much the extent of testimonials you can share without letting those guys turn around and try to fine you a bunch of money because they say, oh, well, hey, you didn't, even if you say results may vary, that's not enough. Because again, there's been too many charlatans, too many good marketers that don't have good delivery. If anything, we're probably better on the delivery than we are providing the marketing and the messaging. That's the truth. Is that honestly, we do a great job taking care of our clients. That's why we don't have upset clients. That's why maybe once every 3 to 5 years, I get somebody who actually has a complaint and then we resolve it. It's so uncommon because we not just deliver, sometimes we over deliver. In fact, our whole goal is to always over deliver for our clients. And so I told him, I was like, listen, like the truth is that my confidence is bigger than your doubt. But you can't know that without really taking that leap forward. In fact, every single person, I say this to all of you, every single person has taken that leap of faith, trusting us, saying, you know what? It seems like it's been good. I can see that there's other, I sent them the videos on this YouTube channel of people that are our clients and what they talk about. And again, we had to delete numbers, right? We had to take those things off, and so he saw those. But I said, it just comes down to you. We're not going to force you into it. In fact, if you're in doubt, don't do it. I said, because that's my mantra, even with investing, is when in doubt, stay out, right? If you're in doubt, don't do it. Because if you keep doubting, if you keep wondering, am I going to make my ROI? The truth is that our system has been proven so many times. I don't have a doubt you will. In fact, we use that passive income calculator on moneyripples.com. We use that calculator to screen you out to make sure we don't bring in anybody who does not get results. We actually just had somebody recently, just in the last week, do the passive income calculator, filled it out incorrectly. She put in her current 401k that's locked up with the company she works with versus the quote unquote old 401k. And that's why we bold old, this 401k, but not everybody catches that. And so she put in the numbers and we had to tell her, sorry, you're not qualified. Because we don't want to deal with that crap. I don't want to deal with that crap. I did not come out of retirement so that I can try to deal with trying to sell people on something that doesn't work. So yeah, I may not be the most polished. I may not be the best marketer out there. I may not be all flashy and showing off my cars and houses and all that kind of stuff. Because honest truth, I don't care. I drive a Nissan and you can just go take that to the bank. I don't care. I honestly don't give a crap what you think. All I care about is that you get results. And the way you do that is when you finally decide this is your time. You're going to break those generational patterns. You're going to break the patterns of your family. You're not going to live the life that they had, scarcity, anything else. You're going to make a different life for you and your family now. You want income now. That's why people don't complain, because they see money coming in now. You want to see the ones that actually get a little bit, scared is when they don't see money made for 6 months, because maybe the investment they chose takes over 6 months before it pays out. They knew that up front, but think about that. Most people don't even know if their financial advisor's plan is going to work until it's too late. They just know, like, oh, I hope it's making money. I hope it's doing okay. You do so much off faith, it's ridiculous. So much. You gamble your money so often in stocks and bonds and whatever, especially when the stocks are ridiculously overpriced right now. Yet, what do? You throw money in stocks, don't you? Because that's what you're supposed to do. But the problem is that if you keep doing what everybody else has done, you will keep getting what everybody else has got, and everybody else is dying of scarcity. Whether they tell you or not, because it's taboo to talk about money, the truth is that most people are scared they will run out of money because they do not have consistent income streams coming in. That is what you need. And so I'm here to call out those of you that are actually willing to take a step. You're willing to change your life and you want the best. And I'm here to tell you, we are the best. I don't know of any other company that's out there right now working with people one-on-one, help them create passive income today, legitimately passive income by creating passive investments, right? Using those passive investments, especially backed by real estate. I don't know, but anybody that's legitimately doing that today, especially in a safer way. There are some companies that are trying to do that sort of thing, but then they pick the worst kind of investments or whatever, either because they get paid on the back end from those, which by the way, we try not to do that. That's one thing we do not do is when we have investments, we don't want to get paid. Even when they offer, by the way, I just got offered by a turnkey company that says, hey, if you get a real estate license, we'll pay you on the back end. I said, nope, but can you reduce your fees for my clients? They said, we might be able to work out something there. I was like, great, do that. Why? Because when we have our clients pay us, why would I have somebody else pay us and then our clients question whether or not we're just promoting them because they pay us? That's crap, right? That's false. Yes, we have some accounting firms that do pay us. That's true. They'll pay us because that is not an investment, but if they do the good work, and they do a good job, then great. The people will hire them. And yes, we get a little referral fee from things like really more just accountants. That's pretty much it. So just know that we're here because we want you to succeed, and we want you to succeed well and in the right way. And we are the best at that. We're the best at doing it one-on-one with passive investing and actually getting and delivering results. Where yes, usually we think it's kind of bad if somebody only makes an extra 10 or 20,000 a year of passive income, which is still better. Just know that most in the coaching industry right now, less than 1 out of 5 people are successful in most coaching companies that are big marketed companies out there. No wonder people have doubt. When ours is the exact opposite. It's nearly 100%. And I say nearly 100% because I can't ever claim 100%, but nearly all of our people are thrilled, are happy, are getting the results they were hoping for. Some might be the exception. It might be that life happened, there was a divorce, there was some sort of issue where they got laid off, and it delayed their ability to make more money now because we had to change the strategy. But still, We don't bring people on unless we know for a fact. Same thing on the infinite banking side. We don't need to write more insurance policies on people, but we know that if somebody wants most cash possible in that policy for their situation, 100% of the time, we always win. Worst case, in a very rare, maybe 1% of the time, someone might match us, might, but we always do the best. And that's what I always reassure people is that we are the best in what we do. Passive income consulting, one-on-one consulting, and infinite banking, especially if you want the max ROI possible. That's it. That's all we do. Everything else we farm out. That's why we don't do taxes, right? That's why we aren't attorneys. That's why we're not even investment advisors, for crying out loud, right? We're not even we don't even do other insurances. Yes, I could actually sell other insurances. I don't, because I just stay in the lane of what I do best and then refer out to everybody else. By the way, we just had a guy recently that hasn't hired us yet. I said, he's dealing with like insurance company issues. I said, hey, we actually got an insurance company guy we can refer you to that used to be a claims adjuster that could probably help make sure you get paid. He said, I appreciate that. I actually have an attorney and a claims adjuster working at the same time. But if they don't work, I'm going to reach out to you. Guys, that's the thing. We're here to help. We're here to serve. I know that's hard to hear because all the noise out there and all the clatter, the clamor and everything else is going on. It's hard to tell. But I'm here to tell you, we are here to serve you. But I'm calling out those that are ready to take action. If you're not ready to take action, then keep listening to podcasts. I hope someday you'll finally decide to choose you and your family and take action. And everybody has their different timing for that. But those are ready for their life to change now. Stop listening to freaking podcasts. Stop listening to stuff. I'm not saying don't stop listening to mine. Even our own clients still listen to it. What I mean is stop just listening and start being a doer, as I say on the show all the time. At what point you go from learning to action, and the action leads to results, and that's when your life changes for the better. That's my call out to you guys. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing every day. Again, I don't need the money, but I want you to succeed. I feel like that is my God-given calling to make sure that you have the ability to have that freedom and prosperity I've been able to enjoy for myself and my family, and many of our clients have done too. I want at least 1,000 of you in the next few years hitting that mark. That's what I'm calling out to do. So anyways, guys, I hope you can hear it from my heart. I'm not trying to sound like I'm arrogant or prideful. I just know after years and years and years of doing this, almost 20 years, I've been doing this kind of thing. And I can tell you, it works. The only difference now, the only choice you have to make for yourself is, will I be willing to do the work to make it work? And just so you know, the work's not that bad. Compared to almost any other coaching that I've been in, the work is pretty fluffy in comparison because it doesn't take much because we've done a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're ready to take that call for yourself and you're willing to choose you and your family right now, reach out to us at moneyripples.com. In the meantime, guys, you're not ready yet, keep learning, keep growing, but be willing to take action. Even if it's just in the smallest degree, do something. Because I promise you, if you start to take action on things I teach, even if it's not with us, you will see results. Guys, this is my hope and my prayer for you is that you can choose you first and foremost and your family so you can create a new ripple effect through generations of your family and to the community around you. You can be a blessing to others if you choose to do that now. Make it a wonderful, prosperous week.